Okay, guys, this is Seven Thunders. I'm gonna give you a brief rundown of what the birth certificate is and how it was created, and and your relationship to it. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right. One thing I want to look at first is the definitions. And this is Black's Law, 5th edition. And we have here a birth certificate and a birth record. And you can see um, that there's a different definition um, there. But what we're going to pay attention to right now is just the birth certificate. All right, and what it says is a formal document which at this time I really don't care uh, what it is, but that's what it is. It's a formal document, a birth certificate, and you can go ahead and read the rest of that definition there. And well, first thing we want to go do is look at document, and here we have again 5th edition document, an instrument on which I really, this whole part down here I really don't care a whole bunch about, but this part I do care about. I'll see also instrument, because up here that's what they tell you a document is, at least a legal document, and instrument. Okay, so okay, we're gonna go look at instrument, of course, and right here we got instrument, and it says a written document, a formal or legal document. Now remember, that's what a birth certificate is, a formal document in writing. But it's an instrument. So here we got right here, it says instrument, a written document. That's one definition. Okay? A formal or legal document in writing, such as a contract, deed, will, bond, or lease. A negotiable instrument as defined by the Uniform Commercial Code. And go ahead and take a second to check out that definition, because that's what the birth certificate is tied up right in here. All right, because that's what the birth certificate is an instrument. Okay? And one quick look at that word I want to check out is will. And it's when we talk about the will, when it says a formal document can be a will, well, this is take a quick look at these definitions here. All right, one in particular is this one right here, choice. Okay, all right, let's get to it. We know this birth certificate is an instrument. We know it's a bond, deed, bill, contract, or a lease. All right, and we're going to find out exactly what it is. That was in the definitions, but let's go to some people who supposedly know what they're talking about. And I'm going to play this for the first 3 or 4 minutes, because there's a matter of fact, let's just go straight to the birth certificate, and then I'll come back to that. Let me see if I can find it.
A relevant fact would be what the search logic of the Secretary of State or whoever accepts filings will be.
Right, and the question is when it will be.
Okay, I'm going to start right here. Now listen very carefully. Listen very carefully to what this woman says.
It raises the stakes, and getting the correct legal name of a registered organization, which is.
What she's talking about, to give you some background, she's talking about perfecting a security interest and a proper filing process for UCC1. Okay, but more importantly, listen to what she says. Talk about the legal name.
So it raises the stakes, and getting the correct legal name of a registered organization, which is another new term, which means a registered organization is an organization where the state maintains a public.
Okay. Let's try that again.
There may be a few as we speak.
So it raises the stakes, and getting the correct legal name of a registered organization, which is another new term, which means a registered organization is an organization where the state maintains a public record of the organization's name, or must maintain a public record of the organization's name. Showing that it existed.
I've heard it sometimes referred to as the state issues a birth certificate.
Right.
All right. Now, what she's talking about, she said getting the correct legal name of a registered organization. And a registered organization is an organization where the state must maintain a record of the organization's name, showing that it exists. And then you hear this guy right here, Bruce Markell. He's a judge, bankruptcy judge. This guy's a bankruptcy judge, but I'll get to that here in a minute. She's talking about the legal name. She's talking about the all-cap name. She's talking about your straw man is what she's talking about. And the legal name of a registered organization is the legal name of that organization, and an organization organized under the laws of the state. But no sooner than she says that, this guy, God bless him, he says, yes, the state issues a birth certificate. And he's right. And he's exactly right, and I'm going to show you why. Let's listen to that one more time so you guys see where I'm coming from.
So it raises the stakes, and getting the correct legal name of a registered organization, which is another new term, which means a registered organization is an organization where the state maintains a public record of the organization's name, or must maintain a public record of the organization's name. Showing that it existed.
I've heard it sometimes referred to as the state issues a birth certificate.
Right.
Okay. Now you just heard she's a law professor, and I'll get to that too. But here, like I said, when this woman talks about the must maintain a record showing that the organization was organized, showing that it exists and has a name, this judge right here, he says, yes, the state issues a birth certificate, okay, or something to that effect. Okay, so here we have them telling us what a birth certificate is. A birth certificate is a record showing that an organization was organized and showing that it exists, showing that it has a legal name. And the key thing there, it is an organization, not an individual. But I'm going to go to the beginning of this video, and I would advise everyone to watch it all the way through, especially if you got a good grasp of the legal definitions of what they're talking about. But I'm gonna play this. Let's see here, from the beginning. Just the first 3 minutes of it, because there's something important in here that the judge says that I want you to hear come out of his own mouth.
You're watching FJTN, the Federal Judicial Television Network. A Federal Judicial Center production. Bankruptcy and Revised Article 9, a program for judges, law clerks, and bankruptcy personnel. Now from the studios of the Federal Judicial Center in Washington, D.C., David Lander.
Hello. This month, a quiet but crucial change took place in the practice of bankruptcy law. Revised Article 9 of the UCC, which governs security interests and personal property, became the law in all 50 states, although a handful of those states are postponing implementation. With that change, many of the rules concerning creation, perfection, and enforcement of security interest have also changed. What you need to know about those changes and how they are going to affect your work is the subject of this program. Here to help us sort through the complications of the new law are four of the nation's experts on the subject. Judge William Hillman, Chief Judge of the Bankruptcy Court of Massachusetts and one of the drafters of the revisions, will give us an overview of the changes. Professor Bruce Markell of the William S. Boyd School of Law at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, will talk about deposit accounts, including priority issues, and a bit about the consumer changes. Professor Linda Roosh of Hamlin University School of Law in St. Paul, Minnesota, will discuss perfection with an emphasis on filing. And Edwin E. Smith of Bingham Dana in Boston, Massachusetts, another of the law's drafters, will cover transition issues. Welcome to all of you, and thanks for being here. Before we begin our discussion, let me remind you that written materials for this program and a one-page evaluation form are available on our website. We urge you to fill out this short and simple evaluation and fax it back to us at the number printed on the form. It is the only way for us to know if you found the program useful and if there's any way for us to do it better. Judge Hillman, as I've said, you were on the drafting committee and have been working on the revisions for nearly 10 years. We know it's far longer and more complicated than old Article 9. Will you kindly give us an overview of the highlights of revised Article 9?
I'm going to pause it there just for a second. Now, keep in mind, this is Judge William Hillman, Chief Bankruptcy Judge of the District of Massachusetts, or at least was. I don't know if he still is. But he was one of the Uniform Code Article 9 drafters, and he spent 10 years drafting it. And he's also talking about this is the law that governs the creation of security interest. Now, when we talk about security interest, that means anytime you're talking about collateral and things of that nature involved in transactions, this Article 9 governs that transaction. So let's go ahead and listen to the judge to what he has to say, and pay close attention when he talks about the giving a speech at when he come out of law school.
Certainly, I'd be glad to. Yes, it is longer. That's the first thing you'll notice. 126 sections instead of 55 in the old 9. And the worst part of that, from my point of view, is that you have to learn all new numbers. And that'll take us all a while to get down. You know, it was when I was a very young lawyer, the president of the local bar stopped me on the sidewalk and asked me to address the bar on the Uniform Commercial Code, which was soon to be effective in that state. The reason he picked me is that I was one of the few people who had ever heard about the Uniform Commercial Code since I'd just come out of law school. So I gave my little speech. And when it was over, an old judge stood up in the back of the room and said, "You people have repealed everything I know."
Okay. For some of you that are well educated, you know, with the Uniform Commercial Code and the bankruptcy and everything, I hope you understand what he just said. Or I'm sure you understood what he just said, whereas some other people might not understand. What he's saying is, when he gave that speech, that law was, the Uniform Commercial Code was soon to be in effect in that state, and he was asked to give a speech about it to the local bar, to the judges and the lawyers of the local bar, and when he did that, an old judge stood up and said, "You people have repealed everything I know." Because is that because it all became the Uniform Commercial Code? Could be. All right. That's what I take from that, is that when that Uniform Commercial Code come in, it overtook at least anything to do with commerce. As far as governing the creation and security interest in personal property and other property. So that was one thing I wanted you guys to hear. Here's another one, and I want you to listen to this judge especially when he talks about the trustee, because when he says trustee, and I'll get to that, but when he says the trustee, he's talking about you and depriving you of your property. But he's going to talk about a commercial tort claim, which is very important if you guys understand what he's saying here. So listen to what he says about a commercial tort claim.
Commercial tort claims have been brought into Article 9 to a limited extent. If a commercial tort claim arises out of the borrower's business or profession, except for after-acquired tort claims, which don't come in, and claims arising out of personal injury, which also don't.
Well, that ain't good. I got a little freeze going on. So let's try that again. Sorry, guys, I live out in the boonies.
Into Article 9 to a limited extent. If a commercial tort claim arises out of the borrower's business or profession, except for after-acquired tort claims, which don't come in, and claims arising out of personal injury, which also don't come in. This inclusion will make it possible for the injured party who holds such a commercial tort claim to borrow against it.
Listen to what he just said there. It allows the injured party who's holding that commercial tort claim to borrow against it. Interesting.
Perhaps securitize it. I'm not so sure where it's going to go, but it's an interesting concept for us to consider.
Boy, that's a lot that they brought in. You know, one commentator has asserted that the effect of revised Article 9 is mostly to make sure there's no unencumbered assets in a Chapter 11 case and no Section 544 recoveries in a Chapter 7 case. What do you think about that statement?
Now, he just asked him because what they've done when they drafted this Uniform Commercial Code, Article 9, revised in 2001, I think it was, is that they no longer wanted certain property to be protected in a bankruptcy, encumbered. They didn't want it to be encumbered, so they want all things unencumbered. But listen to what the judge says very carefully.
Well, no one could deny that there was a strong feeling among those representing secured creditors who were active in the drafting process that trustees should be deprived of assets. But I think when you come down to the bottom line, when you come down to the bottom...
All right, this is going to show you what the crooks are. Now, I'm going to play you the importance of that that statement that he just made. He said that no one could deny that the representatives, those actively working on behalf of the secured creditors in the drafting of the Uniform Commercial Code. Now, that's a statement when it's in itself, because right there is telling you that the secured creditors wrote that law, okay? And not only that, it's that they also felt that trustees should be deprived of assets. And you hear them all giggle and laugh and shit. Makes me mad. But what he's actually saying there is that you should be, your home should be taken from you, your assets should be stripped from you, that you should be deprived of your home, your car, your personal property, your accounts. And this is what's going down, people. All right, this is exactly what's going down. And all these lawyers, they know what the hell is going on. There are stupid lawyers, but these guys knows what's up. All right, so I would advise you to listen to them. I'm going to try to play that again, what that judge says.
Case, and no Section 544 recoveries in a Chapter 7 case.
Listen to this judge very carefully.
Well, no one could deny that there was a strong feeling among those representing secured creditors who were active in the drafting process that trustees should be deprived of assets. But I think when you come down to the bottom line, when you come down to the bottom line...
Do you see how these evil people work with the words? Huh? Because what he's saying is that the secured creditors should be able to deprive you of your assets. That's what he's talking about, people, that the trustee, which is you, and I'll get into that trust here in a second. And that's about all I want to talk about here. I'm going to come back to this guy right here and talk about him here in a second. But right now, I want to talk about this registered organization, and we're going to go start with the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 9, and we're going to talk about here. We're going to look at the. Let's go. Let's go here first, and here we have the definition for registered organization under Article 9 of the Uniform Commercial Code. Registered organization means an organization. That's what it is. It's an organization that is organized solely under the law of a single state or the United States, and as to which the state or United States must maintain a public record showing that the organization to have been organized. Now, don't that sound familiar? That's exactly what that lady told us it was. And then also the legal name of that registered organization, the legal name of that organization. The next thing we're going to look at is that the definition of organization. This comes out of Article 1, general definitions, because it's not in Article 9. An organization means a person other than an individual. Okay, let me get back there. Yeah, here we go. Means a person other than an individual. Well, what's a person? Well, here it is. Person means an individual. No, it's other than individual. So we're going to leave that out. We're just going to scratch that out per this up here. All right, so a person means a corporation, business, trust, estate, trust, partnership, limited liability company, association, joint venture, government, governmental subdivision, agency, or instrumentality. Now, you should read that like this. You should read that as a government subdivision, government agency, or a government instrumentality, or you can read it as a governmental subdivision, governmental agency, or governmental instrumentality. Which that's this right here we're going to talk about why that is here in a second. Or any other legal or commercial entity. Now think about this for a second. It's a legal or commercial entity. That's going to come into play too, because being an entity, it's that fictional thing. Okay, let me move on here to the next one. Let me see what I got here. All right, we're talking about security. What's a security interest? Well, it means interest in personal property or fixtures which secures payment or performance of an obligation. Okay, that's very important right there. And when we look at the security interest, remember Article 9 governs security interest. One other definition I want you to pay attention to is this part right here. Okay? The secured party means a person in whose favor a security interest is created or provided for under a security agreement, whether or not any obligation is to be secured is outstanding. A person that holds an agricultural lien, he's a secured party. A cosigner, he's a secured party. A person to which accounts, chattel paper, payment tangibles, or promissory notes have been sold, he's a secured party. I like this definition right here. All right, because we all know we all want that to be that secured party status, and we're going to talk about a trustee, indenture trustee, which is an interesting term right there. A trustee, indenture trustee, agent, collateral agent, or other representative in whose favor a security interest or agricultural lien is created or provided for, or and there's another option. You can go check that out if you want for yourself. Okay, and we'll go ahead and next out of that. Next thing I want to bring up is how we what's the nationality of that little thing there. And one of the first thing I want to look at, and this is KRS 213.011, this definition for chapters for this chapter. All right, and I want to look at this definition right here. File means the presentation of a vital record for registration. All right. So what's registration mean? We already know that. File means the presentation of a vital record. So let's go down here and look at what registration is. Well, the registration here we got right here. Registration means the acceptance by the Vital Statistics Branch, okay, and the incorporation of vital records provided for in this chapter into its official records. So we have, up here we have a file, which is a presentation, and down here we have a registration means an acceptance. Now remember they tell you that your birth registration is required, right? Well, this is 213.046. It tells you registration of births required. So what are they saying? They're saying acceptance of the presentation is required. Not that you have to offer, but that they have to accept. Anyways, one of the this is and you can see the things up there right there. But this little interesting sentence right here says it all. No certificate shall be held to be complete. Here, let me blow that up for you. No certificate shall be held to be complete and correct that does not supply all items of information called for in this section and in 213.051. So we know where we're going next, people. Contents of birth certificate. 213.051. Contents of birth certificate. Now, I'm going to take just about 25, 30 seconds and let you read that and let that sink in for a second. Maybe I'll throw a little bit of music in right here. At least start some out. But go ahead and read that. Okay? All right. Before I go anywhere else, I'm going to jump back over here to the United States Code. 8 United States Code, Section 1401, National and Citizens of the United States at birth. All right. You want to know how you became a national and citizen of the United States at birth? Here's why. A person of unknown parentage found in the United States while under the age of 5 until shown prior to his attaining the age of 21 not to have been born in the United States. So that's a clue right there, folks. That right there, prior to his changing it not to have been born in the United States. There's an opportunity there. But that's how you became a national and a citizen of the United States, because that's what go look up the definition of illegitimate child, and you'll see, if you look at the cases regarding illegitimate children are considered persons within the equal protection of the law and under the 14th Amendment. So that's how they got you. But anyways, let me go here to we got that. We looked at that. All right, so now we got this birth certificate. All right, and we could speculate how this organization was created, but it stands to reason that when somebody claimed to have found an infant of unknown parentage, this is what created the trust, the organization. All right, just legally speaking, if you know anything about illegitimate children, well, illegitimate children are children of the people. They're no, they don't have parents, which, by the way, is a very interesting thing, because if you go look up parent in the legal dictionary, it says the agency or organization to which a child has been placed with for care, which is what we're going to get to, that damn agency. All right, well, let me go back here one. This is KRS 386 and 386A. Now, what happened is when they made that filing and that information was handed over, this created what is called nowadays as a statutory trust, and the estate of the child was probated. Right, and I'm gonna probably not in this video. I only get 20 minutes, but in a future video, I'm going to tell you where all those accounts come from through the probate court. Being that the trustees are allowed to issue securities against the trust property, which, by the way, is you, or should I say, the infant's body and his human capital, because that's what he's considered as capital goods, goods used in the production of other goods and services. But I don't want to get off track here. I only get 20 minutes. Well, what happens is you can go down here and look, talk about governing instrument. Well, that's what the birth certificate is, folks. And if you know anything about agency, you do have an estate in the estate of the organization, of the trust. That's why you were given a certificate, because you're a beneficial owner. But if you use it, then you also become co-trustee. If you've ever used a birth certificate, that's a good thing. And well, anyways, this is what controls it. An entity is created, okay? This organization, and it's on file. And looking at I wanted to show this part right here because this all governs what the trustees can invest the securities in. If you got time to look at that right there, all right. But anyways, if you're going to, since you're considered a citizen of the United States, which is located in District of Columbia, and you can see Article 9, I think it's 9-307, location of the debtor. But anyways, in this Business Entity Act, if you want to do business here in Kentucky, you have to follow the rules of Kentucky Business Act. And we can go back here and I can show you the mandatory rules and the other things that are required for a trust to do business in Kentucky. And they have to comply with these regulations and statutes right here, 14A, Business Entity Filing Act, because that's what it is. It's a legal and commercial entity, an organization. And the legal name of that organization is your all-cap name. Like I said, I only got 20 minutes. But what I wanted to go down here for is because, okay, since now that we know that that it's an organization, as a matter of fact, it's a registered organization, what is your relationship to it? And that's what we all want to know, right? So this is where this video is going to come in handy, I hope. And we're going to let the judge tell us what he thinks this guy's relationship to that entity is.
Sir, are you here on behalf of Mr. Thompson?
I said I was the administrator for that account.
Are you here as agent for
Could
him?
you guys please back?
You hear me say, are you here as agent for him? Now listen to him again. He's going to get the guy another out.
Oh, thanks.
Are you here as agent for him?
Not as agent, as administrator, much like you are administrator of this court.
Sir, you're either him or you're here as his agent.
All right. Do you hear what he just said? You are either him or you are his agent. And that's exactly right. And here's why I know that is because, one, the court papers that I have regarding operating an agency, a state agency, the judge did put in the paperwork that yes, I did operate the state agency and was found guilty of operating a state agency, that being the birth certificate, and and that's also confirmed through my local county clerk of courts. She verified to me that it's an agency, and also a bailiff in court who was a sheriff of the county for a long time. He looked like he was about 85 years old, but he also confirmed that to me. He knows what it is. Now, when we say agency, we can also say trust, okay? Because that's a fiduciary relationship, and an agency is a fiduciary relationship, and so is a trust. But if you follow me, when you get your birth certificate and you go down and you put it into the Department of Motor Vehicles and you apply for an operator's license, what's really going on there is that you're saying you have proof that that you have this public record showing that this organization was organized, and that you're registering with the state or applying to the state to operate that entity within the grounds. That's why you can't hardly do no business without your IDs and things, because nobody's doing no business unless they're backed insured, and that's where your social and security and social insurance comes from, is that you're backed by that. You know, you're insured. So what you're actually considered as, since you're of unknown parentage, your nationality is that of the United States, which is located in the District of Columbia. You're actually considered a citizen / national of the District of Columbia. It's a state, and you're a citizen, or your status is that of a national or citizen of the United States, which is located in District of Columbia. So now you go here in Kentucky, Texas, California, or any other state, and you take that birth certificate down. What you're actually doing is you're applying for authority and license to operate that entity within the state, and you become the registered agent for service of process, and you actually and your residence becomes your registered office. Okay, and being the registered agent for the registered organization and residing at the registered office, this puts you all in commercial territory. This puts you in interstate commerce, and under interstate commerce, Congress has the exclusive jurisdiction to regulate commerce, and they also have the exclusive jurisdiction to legislate over the District of Columbia and its citizens and nationals. So since you were considered of unknown parentage, that automatically it made you a pauper, because you didn't have a person, because a person is inherited. A man's person is inherited. My person is my father's person, is his father's person, is his father's person. And by person I mean the estate, because without an estate there really isn't a person. But anyways, so when you get pulled over, you're actually they're telling you that you're operating at agency, and you can actually go look and see where the matter of fact, let me show you that right here real quick. You want to go to 189 real quick. 189. This is what you get a ticket for under the traffic regulations. And I just want to go quickly to the definitions. And real quick. All right, right here. 19, vehicle, all agencies. 4. Well, we don't really care about what it says is for. What is it? What is a vehicle? A vehicle is all agencies, no matter what kind of agency. It's all agencies. And the term motor vehicle includes all vehicle as defined in paragraph A of this section. So what is a motor vehicle? It's an agency. What is a vehicle? It's an agency. Okay? And I hope you get that real quick. Let me jump here while I'm here. When we talk about what your rights is, right here, and these statutes only give you clues and evidence. And it says here, highway. Highway means every way or place of whatever nature when any part of it is open to the use of the public as a matter of right, license, or privilege. So are you traveling the highway as a matter of right, license, or privilege for the purpose of vehicular traffic? So when we talk about the commerce, as long as you're not operating an agency, it appears to me that you still operate, do commerce without a license. All right, so I hope I've said enough, improved enough about the registered office and registered agent required. So let's talk about, and it says it right here, each entity and each foreign entity, and that's where your straw man falls under in your state, because he's a creation of the United States under the laws of the United States and under the exclusive legislative power of Congress. Each entity and each foreign entity qualified. All right, you know how you get qualified, right? You got to jump through the hoops and get the licenses. Each entity and foreign entity qualified to transact business in this Commonwealth shall continuously maintain in this Commonwealth a registered office. Let's just call that a residence, because that's what they're talking about. And you people that's dug into that deep commercial stuff, talking about the different classifications of real estate, you'll know that a residence is a commercial place. So we got here a registered office that may be the same as any of its place of business, and a registered agent who may be an individual who resides in the Commonwealth and whose business address is identical with the registered office, or an entity or foreign entity qualified to transact business in this Commonwealth whose business address is identical with the registered office. All right? Now, it goes on to tell you this stuff, what you have to do to become properly licensed to do business here in Kentucky. An entity and foreign entity's registered agent shall be its agent for service of process, notice, or demand required. Do you see? Accept that shit. They got some service process. I'll be happy to take care of that. All right, if you want to operate the agency. Let's talk about the obligations of your as the registered agent for that entity, folks. Okay. The duties of a registered agent are to 1. Forward to the entity or foreign entity for which it is the registered agent any service of process, notice, or demand received on its behalf. And this talks about must maintain a natural person to talk to. All right? That's your obligation. That's it. Forward to the entity or foreign entity for which it is the registered agent any service of process, notice, or demand received on its behalf. But how do we know? Where do we send it to? Well, that's where Article 9-307 comes in, because the location of the debtor also tells you the location of that principal office, because maybe that's... In Article 9-307, it says an organization that has more than one place of business is located at its chief executive office. Now, we know that there are securities being traded on the stock market and on the mutual funds, and that you didn't issue those securities. So now we have an organization, and an organization that has more than one place of business, and an organization that has more than one place of business is located at the chief executive office. And you can go read Article 9-307 for confirmation on that. Well, I hope I didn't go over in time. But if you should want to quit, here's how you do it. Take a quick look. It's real easy. Here it talks about the change, name, address. So when this falls underneath when you go get your change of address when you move. They want to know where the registered agent changes his business address. And so we look at all that right there. That's a good thing to look at. Now, what I want to talk about is remedy. Very quickly. File a UCC1 lien. File an agent's lien via the UCC1. When under an organization type, under debtor, make sure you put state agency, or just put organization, registered organization. For the your name, of course, you use your individual name, proper spelling. I would just use my first and family name, or excuse me, my Christian name and my surname, no middle initials. And then I would list down commercial and industrial machinery, all commercial and industrial machinery equipment as the property, and everything else you own. That's why what you could do is the agent's lien. As agent, you can file a lien on all the property that you possess that belongs to the agency, and you can hold it until the principal pays the bill. Once you have the agent's lien, then you send a letter to the Secretary of State telling you're resigning the appointment of the agency and you're discontinuing the office. And I think if you do that, they'll send you a letter back saying it's duly discontinued, and now you don't even have to accept service of process for that entity. And now I believe you would actually be living in common law jurisdiction. However, that you would greatly suffer as far as doing business, within the Commonwealth, if you know what I mean. That straw man does have its uses, and not only that, it may be, well, in fact, your friend. Okay, well, that's it for this time. Thanks for listening.